Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare.
Hare Krishna, Uttam Damodhar Prabhu. Dandavat pranams.
Hare Krishna, Ravilochan Prabhu, Dandavats. How are you doing, Prabhu?
Doing well, Prabhu. Dandavats. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Could you just turn on your video?
Yes, Prabhu. There we go.
Audio seems fine. Perfect. Hari all. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Yeah.
Do we start or do we wait for some time? Maybe another 1 or 2 minutes. Is that okay?
Yes. So we can, maybe if you want to start a very short kirtan also, we could do that. We can get started in that way. I want to do it, Prabhu. And let me just do a quick round of introduction. Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranams to all devotees. Welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya on a Saturday morning. We'll be just continuing with our, that is the 4th canto and 24th chapter, which is about the Bhagavad-Gita. Today we'll be having the verse of 62. So, and we will hear the nectar from His Grace, Uttam Damodhar Prabhu. Prabhuji, over to you. Let me know if I need to share the screen for the sloka when it's required, or I can make you a co-host as well, Prabhu.
I can share the screen as well, or you could do it for me, Prabhu. Both ways is fine.
Okay.
I'm okay to do anything. That's
yeah. Absolutely. I'll just make you the co-host in that case. It'll be easier for you. Over to you.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. We'll begin. Jaya Radha Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajjana Rangana Yashodanandana Vrajjana Rangana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Bihari Radha 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 Krishna Chandra Radha Krishna Chandra Radhe Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Shubhadramai Jaya Sudarshana Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jai Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya All Premanande Jai Om Vishnupada Vidyakacharya Stotra Divine Grace Vaishnava Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Vidyakacharya Stotra His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Hridayadas Thakur Ki Jai Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatt Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatt Das Raghunath Shat Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय श्री क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय जमुना माई की जय कावेरी माई की जय भक्ति देवी की जय तुलसी महारानी की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories and glories and glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayanti Rite. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangulam Gayatim Grimyat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Guvadantarinam Paramanandam Bhagavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna's reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 24, text number 62. Just allow me 1 minute to share my screen, please.
Sure, Prabhu.
I hope my screen share is visible to all the devotees.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. So as we said, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 24, and the text number is 62. Kriya kalapai idameva yogina Shraddha anvita sadhu yajanti siddhe Bhuta indriya antakarana upalakshitam Vede cha tantre cha te eva kovida Kriya kalapa idam eva yogina Shraddha anvita sadhu yajanti siddhe Bhuta indriya antakarana upalakshitam Vede cha tantre cha te eva kovida Kriya kalapa ida eva yogina Shraddha anvita sadhu yajanti siddhaye Bhuta indriya antakarana upalakshitam Vede cha tantre cha te eva kovida. Devotees, if anybody would like to repeat the shloka.
Yes, Prabhu, let me try it.
Please.
Kriya kalapair idam eva yoginaha shraddhanvitaha sadhu yajanti siddhaye bhutendriyantaha karano palakshitam vede cha tantre cha tha eva kovida. Devotees, I've just unmuted the line so you can read it.
Hare Krishna. Kriya kalapair idam eva yoginaha shraddha vanvitaha sadhu yajanti siddhaye bhutendriyantaha karano palakshitam vede cha tantre cha ta eva kovidaha. Hare Krishna.
We can move on to
Ya kalapar idameva yogina Shraddhanvita sadhu yajanti siddhaye Bhutendriyanta karano palakshitam Vede cha tantre cha te eva kovida. Word to word translation. Kriya, activities. Kalape, by processes. Idam, this. Eva, certainly. Yogina, transcendentalist. Shraddhanvitaha, with faith and conviction. Sadhu, properly. Yajanti, worship. Siddhaye, for perfection. Bhuta, the material energy. Indriya, senses. Antakarana, antakarana, heart. Upalakshitam, symptomized by. Vede, in the Vedas. Cha, also. Tantre, in the corollaries of Vedas. Cha, also. Te, your lordship. Eva, certainly. Ovida, those who are experts. Translation. My dear Lord, your universal form consists of all five elements, the senses, the mind, intelligence, false ego, which is material, and the Paramatma. Your partial expansion, who is the director of everything, yogis other than the devotees, namely the Karma Yogi and Jnana Yogi, worship you by their respective actions in their respective positions. It is stated both in the Vedas and in the Shastras that are corollaries to Vedas, and indeed everywhere, that it is you only who are to be worshipped. That is the expert version of all the Vedas. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Read the purport. In the previous verse, Lord Shiva wanted to see the form of the Lord, which the devotees are always interested in. There are other forms of the Lord manifest in the material world, including Brahma and the other demigods, and these are worshipped by the materialistic persons. In the second canto, third chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that those who desire material benefits are recommended to worship different types of demigods. And in the conclusion, the Bhagavatam recommends Kama sarvo kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yadanche purusham param. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, text number 10. The devotees, the jnanis, who are known as moksha kama, and the karmis, who are known as sarva kama, are all aspiring to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. Even when one performs yajna, as stated here, kriya kalapa, he should always remember that the demigods are but agents of the Supreme Lord. Actually, the worshipful Lord is Vishnu, Yagneshwara. Thus, even when different demigods are worshipped in the Vedic and Tantric sacrifices, the actual goal of sacrifice is Lord Vishnu. Therefore, in Bhagavad-Gita 9.23, it is said, Yepyanta devata bhakta yajanti shraddha nanvita tepi mam eva kaunteya yajanti aviti purvikam. Whatever a man may sacrifice to other gods, O son of Kunti, it is really meant for me alone, but is offered without true understanding. Thus, the worshippers of various demigods also worship the Supreme Lord, but they do so against the regulative principles. The purpose of regulative principles is to satisfy Lord Vishnu. In the Vishnu Puran 3.8.9, the very same thing is confirmed. Varnashrama chavata purushena parapuman Vishnu radhyante panta nanyate toshakarnam. Here it is clearly mentioned that karmi, jnani or yogi, in fact everyone worships Lord Vishnu if he is actually expert in knowledge of the Vedas and Tantras. The word Govida is very significant, for it indicates the devotees of the Lord. Only the devotees know perfectly that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu is all pervading within the material energy. He is represented by the five material elements as well as the mind, intelligence and ego. He is also represented by another energy, the living entities, and all these manifestations in the spiritual and material world combined are but representations of different energies of the Lord. The conclusion is that the Lord is one and that is expanded in everything. This is understood by the Vedic version, Sarva Kalava Idam Brahma. One who knows this concentrates all his energy in worshipping you. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to 62nd verse of 24th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 4 is creation of the fourth order and the 24th chapter that we were reading. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapata Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So wonderful shloka here, and if you look at the translation, it is very clearly saying that it is only you to be worshipped. When we say you, it is meant for Krishna. Only Krishna is to be worshipped. That is the expert version of all the Vedas. Wherever we look at it, that's the only version that we look at. As to worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the final word. It is recommended that we should not worship demigods. We have to worship only the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is Krishna. Now, a very simple example can be taken here. It is spoken by Srila Prabhupada in very many places in Srimad Bhagavatam, and a lot of our devotees also speak about it, saying that when we have a tree, yes, you have possibilities of putting the water on the twigs, on the branches, everywhere else. But then it does not give you as much benefit as you get when you offer the water at the base of the tree or at the roots of the tree. And we see this in the material world as well, in our normal lives as well, that there are a lot of demigods. And there are a lot of demigods who are living demigods, they call it as. The leaders, the so-called propounders, the leaders and all of them. But then worshipping them does not really help us in any way. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, throughout my life, I have served my wicked mind. And with serving of this wicked mind, I have not gained anything. There are absolutely no returns, and he is actually lamenting that why did I serve my mind? And why did I not serve you? When he means not serve you, it is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He says, doesn't talk about the demigods in any case. There are a lot of people who serve some political parties, they serve some societies, and they feel proud about being there. There's one very nice example which was given by a devotee, saying that there was a person who had served the society for close to about 20-25 years. And after serving the society for 20 years, and this is selfless service, he had dedicated completely himself to the society, forgetting everything else that he would do. So after 20 years, he goes back to the head of the society. And he tells him that, I need some help. I have not been doing well, and I need some kind of financial help. So this leader of the society tells him that, you are valued and you are cared all these years till the time that you are valuable to the society, to that particular group of people, we call it a society. Unfortunately, a society does not help anybody. It is only you who have to help the society. So when we follow such principles of life where we are serving somebody other than the demigod, other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is going to be no returns in whatever we do. We see this in our family life as well, even in our friends that we see. Nobody is grateful. Absolutely, there is no reciprocation in whatever we do. We do so much for our families, we do so much for our friends, we do so much for our relatives. But at some point of time in life, When you need their help, when you need some kind of a reciprocation from their side, they do not stand by you. On the contrary, when we see, there's a very nice pastime of Govardhan Leela. Again, here it is shown that, Govardhan Leela, just prior to Govardhan Leela. So if we see, for thousands of years or thousands of generations, the Vrindavan Vasis were all worshipping Lord Indra. They were offering everything to him. The first crop which came in, they would offer to him. Anything that they would grow newly would offer it to Indra. And that was a family tradition. And there was nobody, questioning that. But one fine day, when the little boy Krishna questions this to Nanda Baba and the other, his fellow kinsmen, and they stopped the worship for 1 year. As a result, we all know what happened. The Samantaka clouds come on them. Indra says, how dare you worship somebody else? For so many years you've been worshipping me. Just for that 1 year, for thousands of years when everybody was worshipping, there was absolutely no problem at all. But for that 1 year, when Krishna requested that we should not worship Indra, we should only worship Govardhan, who's giving us everything, who's provider of everything. Indra really got annoyed and he started heavy clouds, heavy rains, heavy thunderstorms. So here we see that there is absolutely no reciprocation even in demigods. We've seen that in our family, our friends, our relatives. We also see that as far as the demigods are concerned. But on the contrary, Krishna held Govardhan on a small finger for 7 days and 7 nights. Well, Krishna could have done anything. He would have stopped the rains. He would have done anything that was possible because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But still, he stood by all of them because they trusted him for once. They actually endowed full faith in Krishna only that once time. And at the same time, Krishna stood by them. And it is said Krishna is ever grateful. It is also said in the Bhagavad-Gita, when Krishna left this planet, Uddhava was left behind and Uddhava was talking about it. And there's a conversation which happens. And Uddhava says that Krishna is so grateful to everybody, even to Putana. What did Putana do? She came with an intention of killing Krishna. She actually smeared poison on her breast and she came there on the orders of Kamsa that he should be killed. Krishna should be killed. He should not be alive. But for once, Putana showed a little sign of motherhood. Although the intention was absolutely different. The intention was to try to kill Krishna. But she said, I would like to feed him like a baby. I would like to be his mother. She just showed this intention, though this intention was not the right intention. But still, Krishna, knowing the desire of Putana that she had come to kill him, she had smeared her breast to kill this little boy, but he awarded him the position of his mother. Even today, Putana is considered as his mother. So Krishna never forgets the service, however small or however insignificant that we have done. And he never, never, ever leaves his devotees. There's a very nice, this is a factual story which happened in our own movement. There's a very nice devotee who on the orders of the spiritual master came down to Vrindavan. He was from the US and he was serving their Lordship Shri Radha Shyam Sundarji, Shri Krishna Balramji and Shri Gaurnathai. And this went on close to about 11 to 12 years. And this was in the austere conditions of Vrindavan. All of us know that, Vrindavan, if it rains, it pours. When it is hot, it is absolutely hot. And when it is cold, it is extreme cold. In this austere condition, this devotee, who was a pujari, served their lordships for 11 years. And at some point of time, there was some confusion. And during this confusion, it so happened that the confusion was basically there was some paraphernalia which was missing, and it was actually stolen from the temple. It was stolen from the altar. And there was some conversation which happened, and this devotee decided that he will not continue to do the service as a pujari, and he left the temple to go back to US. And well, we all know when somebody decides to go back, he went back to US and then he started to look for a job. And when he started to look for a job, he had desired in his heart that I should be always around money. Money should always revolve around me. And when he went back to US for a couple of weeks, he started looking for a job. This was in New York. And for a few weeks, he did not get a job. And after a few weeks, he got a job in the central printing area of the currency. In the central bank in India, we call it as RBI. RBI actually prints they control the currency. There, the central bank controls the currency, where they print money. And you look at his desire that he wanted to be surrounded by money. So he would see money everywhere. He would see printing, he would see it, getting packed, he would see it, it actually comes in form of the sheets, newsprints, and then they cut the currency. And, there is a whole lot of process that happens. And there's, the coins are being minted. It's coins are being made there. So he could see money all around him. And so Krishna fulfilled his desire. Though he has left the service of Radha Shyam Sundar, Krishna Balram, Gaur Nitai, and gone back to the US, and he has no intention of coming back, and he has no intentions of serving them also there. He had given up with a very bitter taste, saying that, there's nothing in Krishna consciousness, I should just leave it. But still Krishna fulfilled his desire, saying that he wanted to see money all around him. So in the bank, he would always see money all around him. Nevertheless, this devotee, Krishna's plan, he left the job after some time and started to work elsewhere in the US. But finally, one fine day, he meets a devotee and she invites him to the temple. This is a very old friend of his, and she understands what he has gone through while he was in Vrindavan. And this is again Krishna's plan. There's nothing that we have to blame, saying that despite working for so many years, why did he, or despite putting in so many years of seva, why did he go through this kind of a condition? So this devotee friend of his invited him to the temple, but then, he was scared to go back to the temple. He said, no, I don't want to go back to the temple. There's no life at all in the temple, and it's just waste of time and kinds of things that he had as an impression. But then this devotee insisted, saying that it's okay, don't worry, you come. Even if you don't come inside the temple, you can wait outside. So this devotee agreed to go to the temple, and he waited outside for a while, and he did not go inside. But then after a little bit of persuasion, he actually goes inside the temple. And at this point of time, the Guru Puja is on. And when the Guru Puja is on, at the end of Guru Puja, the chamara is offered to Srila Prabhupada. And when this was being done, he just recollected his old memories of offering the chamara to their Lordship Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundarji, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai, and Shri Shri Krishna Balram. And his wonderful memories came back to him. He started profusely sweating and crying, shedding tears. And then, as this went on, and then he started practicing again Krishna consciousness, and he came back to Krishna consciousness permanently. So I'm saying whatever little bit that he had done by worshipping their lordships, it called him back. And now he's a very, very nice devotee, continue to be practicing Krishna consciousness in the US and spreading the holy name of the Lord very widely. Well, this is how it shows that Krishna is the dearmost friend, and we don't have to actually worship anybody else. Whatever we worship, in whatever forms that we go to the demigods, asking them for any kind of favors, it can be material, it can be otherwise. The worship is actually done to the wish, to Lord Vishnu. And whatever is offered through demigods, it is aviti purvakam. It is not the right way to do it. Our highest perfection of life is to see Krishna with our eyes. And here we see in the pastime of Govardhan Leela also that how he saved the devotees from the wrath of Indra. There's another very nice story. I've given a lot of stories so that we understand these things very, very well, that Krishna is to be worshipped, and whatever we desire and whatever we ask from him, he fulfills all our desires. I'm sure all of us know His Grace Gopi Parandananda Prabhu, very senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada, served in translation and a lot of translation of Srimad Bhagavatam, and even writing of Srimad Bhagavatam. The last few cantos have been written by Gopi Parandananda Prabhu, a team of devotees who wrote this after Srila Prabhupada left the mortal world. Gopi Parandananda Prabhu continued to live in Govardhan, though he left his body a couple of years back. His good wife, Archamurti Mataji, she continues to stay in Govardhan, and Govardhan is not an easy place to live. Govardhan is supposed to be the hottest place in the world, in the material world. And it's one of those very, very austere things that we do if we stay in Govardhan Dham. But Archamurti Mataji, for the last 12 years, she has been continuing to do half Govardhan Parikrama every day. So when I say half Govardhan Parikrama, every 2 days she completes one Govardhan Parikrama. And this is a very, very regular thing. We had the good fortune of being with her on one of the Parikramas in the morning. She is greeted by all the Vrajavasis, all the Govardhan Vasis, because she has been there for so many years. Not only that, she also takes care of about 12 cows which they have, and she chants every day 64 rounds. She worships Giriraj Maharaj. And she's a great devotee. And this is her incident which happened a couple of years back. One year it was her birthday, and as she's very popularly, very well known there in Govardhan, everybody comes and wishes her, and a lot of devotees go to wish her. The Brajavasis wish her, and all that happens. So this one particular year, nobody remembered her birthday. Everybody forgot her birthday, and nobody actually went to wish Mataji a birthday. And she was a little down that day, and she was actually talking to Krishna Balram. She was actually talking to Balramji. And she said, look, nobody has actually come to... And this is an actual story. This is narrated by Mataji to us. And she says, look, this year, Balramji, nobody has come to you and wish me. But it's okay, you are my Lord. She has full faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So she said, give me a gift. This is actually, she asked Balramji that give me a gift. And she's been taking care of the cows. And she particularly likes one variety of cows. And she said she wanted a calf. And so she prayed, and then, she was in her normal activities. And while she was out in Govardhan, she sees one sadhu walking with 4 calves. And the sadhu tells him that, I'm not able to take care of the calves. Can you help me taking care of the calves? Here are the 4 calves. Please take them out. The Mataji says, no, I cannot manage 4 calves. I've asked only 1 calf to Balramji. And finally, she says, okay, I will take 1 calf. And the sadhu gives her the calf. So she was very happy getting the calf on the prayers that she had offered to Balramji. And the calf was very skinny. For a long time, the calf was not given any food to eat. So, because the sadhu did not have anything kind of things. And when she got the calf was not even able to walk. It could not even stand because of hunger. And the calf was very, very weak, and it actually lost consciousness. And when the calf lost consciousness, Mataji felt very sad about it. So she and Gormon, who's Mataji's son, took this calf and wanted to treat the calf. So they put the calf into an auto rickshaw, those big auto rickshaws that you get in Govardhan. And they said they wanted to go to the doctor. And while this is happening, there's another young man who jumps into this auto, while the auto is moving. Mataji is saying, hey, there's no place. Don't get into this. The calf is not doing very well. and we want to go to the doctor, please don't come inside because the auto is already full. And this young man sees that the calf is not fine, and he says, what happened? Says, see, this is what has happened. The calf is, very weak, and because of hunger, it cannot even stand. And now it's lost its consciousness also. This young man actually speaks some mantras, and the calf actually wakes up. And this man, without of it anything, he jumps out of the auto. He gets down from the auto and just leaves. So here we see the prayer that Archamuti Mataji made. So Krishna made her day very, very special. Balramji made her special day very, very special. And now this calf is a full-grown cow, and cow is still there in Govardhan, house of Gopi Parandana Prabhu. So what I'm trying to drive home here is a point saying that if you worship Krishna and if you pray to Krishna, you don't need anything else. Krishna is all pervading. The entire universe is created through his energies, and everything is resting in his energy. And because Krishna is all pervading, it doesn't mean that he has lost his personality or his personal existence. This last line in our purport that we see is there. It says that I am there everywhere. Yeah. So this is very important that we understand. A Vaishnava understanding is very clear. It says Krishna, if this understanding of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara is very clear, that even though Krishna is one with his energies, he's simultaneously distinct. He's actually separate. He attains this eternally for his distinct personal identity, his form, his qualities, his name, and so on. And if we see Krishna's diverse material forms are demigods, that doesn't mean that we have to worship them. There are those who worship the demigods with faith. There's a very clear example here also given. As I said, Krishna's diverse energy are the demigods. And that doesn't mean that we should worship them. A very simple example that we take in our life, we know we require food to nourish our body. But when we have to nourish our body, I cannot take food and stuff it to my eyes or stuff it to my ears. It has to be eaten through the mouth so that it goes into the stomach, and there it is digested, and then the whole body gets nourished. That's the actual process. And when we worship demigods, it is aviti purvakam. It is improper. Likewise, as we cannot stuff food into our eyes or ears, you cannot worship demigods. If you worship Krishna, all your wishes are fulfilled. Actually, the demigods are energies of Krishna. They are actually the limbs, arms, and we also call them the departmental heads. They manage different departments, like the department of heat, the department of rain, the department of cool, all that. And Krishna is transcendentally the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he wants our loving devotional service. When he wants it directly, when he wants it, why should not we serve him directly? That's the transcendental service that we can do with God. Devotees don't worship the material things like demigods. And at the same time, it is also very important for devotees to understand that we don't worship the impersonal spiritual quality also. We only worship the spiritual, personal quality of the Lord. There are two kinds of people, those who follow the path of karma and those who follow the path of jnana. Those who follow the path of karma worship the demigods, and those who follow the jnana path worship the impersonal Brahman. Both are again not to be done. It is advised in Srimad Bhagavatam saying that you serve the Lord directly. A pure devotee knows what and where to worship the Lord and how to worship the Lord. In the Ishopanishad, it is told that, oh Lord, your impersonal effulgence is very, very glaring. It is blinding. You can't actually see the impersonal effulgence which is coming. So the devotees request, saying that please remove this veil which is there, the parda, it is there on top. So I could see your beautiful form and I could meditate and serve you. Now there is a question that we may ask, why there are so many forms of the Lord? And this so many forms of the Lord are basically so that we can individualize it. There is individuality that needs to be looked at. There are devotees who like certain things of the Lord, so they would want that individuality to be maintained. There are certain devotees who like the Tribanga form. There are certain devotees who like the covered boy form. There are certain devotees who like the conjugal love form. So Krishna actually, as per the desires of the devotees, takes the form. Unlimited forms are taken by Krishna just to satisfy his devotees. Because not that all of us like the same form of the Lord. Some of us like little Krishna, some of us like the Gopal form, some of us like the Bhagavata form. Likewise, Krishna comes in so many forms so that we can all individually have our own relationship with him. In the 11th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, Arjuna is asking Krishna to actually show the universal form. Well, somebody may ask, saying that, why Arjuna is asking Krishna to show the material form. Krishna is a dearmost devotee. He's such a nice friend of Krishna. Well, Arjuna doesn't need to see it, but for the benefit of the devotees, he's asking this question. He's actually playing the role of an ignorant person. And when we mean ignorant person, it is for people like us who do not know anything. And that's the reason that Arjuna is asking Krishna to show his universal form. But it is only Vasudeva to be understood or worshipped or to be liked. Well, in Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, it is said Vasudeva Paraveda. So there's a very nice text number 28 and 29 in chapter 2. Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramukha, Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva Parakriya, Vasudeva Param Gnanam, Vasudeva Param Tapam, Vasudeva Parodharmo, Vasudeva Paragati. So if we look at this particular thing, it says Vasudeva Paraveda. Vasudeva, that's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is the goal of all Vedic knowledge. Vasudeva Paramukha, that it is obtained by performing the Vedic sacrifices. And Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva is the object of yoga, the Ashtanga Yoga. Vasudeva is the Ashtanga Yoga. Vasudeva Parakriya, all the fruitive activities are rewarded by him. Whatever fruitive activities that somebody wants to do, it is all rewarded by him. Vasudeva Paramagnanam, he is the supreme knowledge. Vasudeva Paratapa, he is the result of all the austerities that one takes up. Vasudeva Parodharma, he is the topmost dharma, the religion. And Vasudeva Paragati, he is the ultimate destination. So, of all the forms of Krishna, I would quickly take this through. Rupa Goswami says in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Krishna has so many forms, but one should really look at only 3 forms. All these forms that we can look at it as Manvantara forms or the Satyavesha avatar or the Leela avatars and all of that. On the forms of Krishna, there are 3 topmost forms. The third one being Lord Narasimha, that's how we have to worship, Lord Rama, and the first one being Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is the form in complete sweetness, it's in complete perfection. This is a complete form and it is the most potent form. And the degree of potency is displayed is not the strength, but it means the opulence and the beauty and the sweetness that the Lord expresses. There's a very nice pastime or a conversation between Lord Chetney and Raghupathi Upadhyay. This comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, where there was a conversation where Lord Chaitanya meets Raghupathi Upadhyay, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blesses Raghupathi Upadhyay by saying, Krishna Mati Rahu. May your consciousness always be absorbed in Krishna. Then on the contrary, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking questions to Raghupathi Upadhyay. You see the conversation, Lord Supreme Personality of Godhead becoming ignorant or becoming absolutely humble, and he's asking questions to Raghupathi Upadhyay. And the first question that he asked Raghupathi Upadhyay is saying that what form of the Lord is the best? So Raghupathi Upadhyay says, among all forms of the Lord, Shama Eva Param Rupam. Shama Eva Param Rupam means which is the Supreme Personality. That's the best form of the Lord. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continues to ask this question. This Shama Rupa is actually the form, but then which is the best abode? Shama Rupa he accepts, saying that that's the best form. But then which is the best abode? So here the answer is Madhupuri is the best abode. And when Raghupathi Upadhyay mentions Madhupuri, he refers it to Vrindavan. Even in Vrindavan, Krishna has different forms. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asking him, even in Vrindavan, Krishna has different forms. There's, Balya form, the Poganda form, the Kaishora form. Among this, which is the best? So Raghupathi Upadhyay answers saying the age of Krishna to be meditated is Kaishora. The essential characteristics of supreme worshipable is to be worshipping him in Kaishora form. And then finally, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asking him, which is the which is the best rasa. So Raghupathi Upadhyay answers here saying that Madhurya rasa is the best rasa. And in this rasa, you get the best of the knowledge. Krishna is actually acquired by this. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, looking at these four answers that Raghupathi Upadhyay gave, composed a verse. And this verse is from Madhyalila 19.106. Shyamam eva param rupam puri madhu purivara yayam kaishoram adya eva parorasa. It actually means the form of Shyam Sundar is the supreme form. The city of Mathura is the supreme abode, and Lord Krishna's fresh youth form is always to be meditated upon, and the mellow of conjugal love is the supreme mellow. So this is our Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. Krishna then comes in the combined form of Radha and Krishna as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as we all know. And then he gives instructions saying that Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna Upadesh. And he wants each one of us to become a guru and preach the holy name of the Lord. So we started our conversation with saying that demigod worship is not good. Here Krishna himself says that it is avidhi purvakam. So we should not worship demigods for any material benefit. Whatever worship that we have to do is to worship only Vasudeva, and he is to be understood and worshipped. And we should not follow the Gyanis or the Karmis who follow different paths. And the only goal of worship for devotees is to worship the Supreme Personality Godhead. And this is where we also see Lord Shiva wanted to see this form of the Lord, which the devotees are always interested. The Lord comes in his form, various forms, but the best form is Vasudeva form. So we will end our class here. If there are any questions, we could take them, or if there are any comments anybody would like to make, I'm happy to accept the comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful nectar. It was really very nice, and you had wonderfully summarized it. And it gives a lot of hope and confidence. And then you gave so many examples. And to just reiterate the point as well, and how Lord is so merciful. That any kind of service, no matter what your intent is, still He is so merciful. He takes it in a very in a best possible way. Like the example of Putana, and also like the Mataji who had that strong desire to somehow revive that particular calf, and then Krishna sends different persons to make sure all your prayers are answered. It's very nice. Thank you. I just unmuted the line, so I would request devotees to ask their questions or share their comments.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Prama.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes. Yes, Prabhu, I have a doubt about the demigod worship. Like one instance, I don't know, maybe I'm not right, because even in Tirupati, you know, when there is a drought, they perform sacrifices, because keeping Lord Venkateshwara there, he's none other than Govinda, and they perform sacrifices is for the rains. I mean, how do you explain this, Prabhu?
Mataji, very valid question, and this is a question many times that we have been asked, as devotees when we go out for preaching as well. They say, why do you say demigod worship is not there? But if you really see the sacrifice that is done is actually Vishnu sacrifice. It is sacrifice for Vishnu. Whatever homa, whatever sacrifice that we perform, it is performed for the pleasure of Vishnu. And once upon a time, this is again a very nice, not once upon a time, I would say during Srila Prabhupada's tenure, Srila Prabhupada was in Hyderabad, and Hyderabad was running under a drought situation. There was no water, scarcity of water. Srila Prabhupada performed a sacrifice. Well, this sacrifice is for Vishnu, it is not for any demigods. So even in Tirupati, what they perform, the sacrifice is for Lord Vishnu, for Govinda himself, for Krishna himself, for Balaji himself, so that Balaji is pleased and then he bestows us with the rains. It is not directly offered to Varuna. Yes, Varuna is a part of the request, or he comes as a part of the rain, but then naturally the sacrifice is for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu. Only when it is offered to Vishnu, you get the results of it, the right results of it. You may get some temporary benefits sometimes by worshipping the demigods, but it is not advisable, because everything, here also in the shloka or here also in the purport, if you see, it is all directed towards Lord Vishnu. And if we do it through the demigods, if we pray through the demigods saying that please give us rain, it is avidhi purvakam. It is improperly done. I hope that answers your question, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you, because I didn't have the understanding, so I thought I will ask you the question.
No, it is done for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu.
Yes.
In Bhagavad-Gita also, I forget the shloka, but it says, among everything, it is the Lord to whom the sacrifice is to be offered. I can cross-check that particular shloka and revert back to you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Pranams.
Bhoktanam Dignitapasam. Everything goes to the Lord.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams Prabhuji. Thanks for the class. Prabhuji, I have one doubt. I heard that Vasudeva is an expansion of Krishna. So can we use Krishna and Vasudeva interchangeably like that, Prabhu? Krishna is the highest, I feel.
You can, Mataji. You can change. You can use Krishna, Vasudeva. Krishna has got multiple forms, and again, in the discussion that we had, it depends on at what level we are and what level that we want to be. There is somebody who always, you must have heard the story of Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta he was Hanuman in the previous life, and Murari Gupta would always talk about Rama, Rama, Rama. Chaitanya Prabhu never said that, why are you calling Rama? Or here in this case where you're saying that, you want to either call Vasudeva or Krishna. Both are same. There's absolutely no difference between Vasudeva and Krishna. Vasudeva is another name given to Krishna because he was the son of Vasudeva. So there's absolutely no difference. You can interchangeably use the names. Like at home, some of us have different names, some nicknames that we call. Pappu, Munna, but then the actual name is something else. But when you're calling that person, either Pappu or Munna, you're actually referring you to that particular person only. So whatever name, you may have a loving relationship. I'm sure you have a loving relationship with Krishna because he is our Supreme Father. And you can give him a name. Like in the temple also, we have different names. Some temples we call Radha Krishna Chandra, some temples we call Radha Ras Bihari Ji, some temples we call Radha Shyam Sundar Ji, but it is Krishna. So you can interchangeably use the name as Vasudeva or Krishna. There's absolutely no problem. I hope that answers your question, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Dhanyavads.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, Sankarshan Sridhasana Prabhu. Thank you very much for wonderful class, Prabhuji. Thank you. And actually, the key points that you highlighted, that reinstate the faith, that gives confidence to us. Yes, Krishna, even if we do little service, Krishna never forgets that. So, during difficult time, I think, if we recollect that again and again, I think that would be giving a lot of confidence and hope. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Very true, Prabhu. We have to only look at the pastimes that we have seen or we have heard and we have read. How Krishna protected everybody. Think of Pandavas and what kind of difficult situations that they were in. If Krishna can protect Pandavas in those difficult situations, I'm sure our difficulties are very, very minuscule, very, very small. And if we remember Krishna, I'm sure he'll protect us and help us. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Just to add one comment, like Mataji was mentioning about this yajna or homa. Typically, Prabhuji, what I have seen is that at the end of the homa, even if it is offered for demigods or Varuna or others, at the end, there is a sloka that everything is offered to Vishnu. So,
very true.
So that way, it's actually going to Vishnu only. So that's what I feel.
Very nicely summed up, Prabhu. Thank you very much for adding that. I just want to conclude. I want to add one more thing here is, again in the shloka, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions this very clearly, saying that it is avidhi purvakam. If we do a yajna, offer it to demigods and finally say that it is offered to Vishnu, it is avidhi purvakam. So if we have to do the right thing, it has to be for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu only. There cannot be anything other than that. So as devotees, I think we have to understand this very clearly. And as we move forward, we have to also talk about this to others and preach others, saying that anything that you do has to go to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why do you want to take via media? Why do you want to, water the twigs or the branches? Water the roots directly and get the benefits. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So if there are no questions, I think we will end our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam here. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. And I beg mercy of all the devotees present here and those who are not present here to bless us so that I could do something a little bit here and there in the ways that I could reach my Guru, in the ways that I could please my Guru Maharaj, which is very important, and serve the devotees. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for your wonderful association in the morning and nectar. We would like to see you more often. So please share more nectars.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I just end the session now.